We're stepping outside our Soda City living studio today, and if you're like me, you got to start your day off with some good coffee. We're going to start our day off with some crazy good coffee at Bart's Crazy Good Coffee Shop. Let's take a look. Joining us now is Bart Baldwin, the owner of Bart's Crazy Good Coffee. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here.
Tell us what is so crazy good about your coffee.
Well, we roast our own coffee, and unlike most roasters that use traditional drum roasters, we actually use newer technology. And the type of roaster that we use is called a fluid bed roaster. It has nothing to do with fluid. It's actually a fancy name for a hot air roaster. But the bottom line is that the coffee that it produces is much less bitter and much smoother. So that's kind of what sets us apart, at least as far as the coffee is concerned. Yeah.
So you've had the Chapin location for about 3 years now. Tell us about this new Irma location.
Okay, so the Irma location used to be Tribal Coffee, and I ran into the owner of Tribal at a local restaurant down here, and we struck up a conversation, and he actually recommended that we explore the idea of maybe acquiring them. And long story short, that's exactly what we did. It's probably the most expensive impulse buy I ever made.
And one thing I love about your brand is that you don't have to be a coffee drinker. And what I think is so funny is you were telling me earlier that you weren't always a coffee drinker.
No, I wasn't a coffee drinker. I didn't drink coffee until I was 53, so 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found out that not all coffee's created equal. The coffee that my folks drank when I was growing up, I never have been able to drink it, still can't drink it. But I discovered that really, like a more of a medium or a light roast has a completely different flavor than what I thought coffee was. So yeah, about 7 years ago, I started drinking coffee.
And so tell us about your OMG coffee.
Okay, the OMG coffee came about actually from my first experience with coffee. One of the things that I do is I kind of blend things together, like my cologne's a mixture, my favorite soft drink is a mixture of that and orange juice. So I'm a mixologist, if you will. Well, I ended up with 5 different coffees that other people made, making something that I liked. And then people would come to visit, they would drink my coffee, and they're like, oh, this is really good. So I ended up selling coffee to them at cost just so they could have it, because of course my mix was the only place you could get that. Well, fast forward to when I was no longer in the corporate world and I was looking for something to do, I made the realization that people really like my coffee. A lot more people drink coffee than use drone photography, which is what I was doing. So I did some research, decided I would take the risk and bought a roaster, and sort of here we are.
Yeah.
And the OMG is sort of a better replication of what I started off with my blend.
Okay.
Yep.
So someone who's not a coffee drinker, say they come here for the first time, what would you recommend they get?
The OMG.
Yeah.
The OMG original. It's a medium roast, a light medium roast. It's very, very smooth, very mild. We do have coffee for all tastes. So, I mean, even though that's our standard, we also have, like I said, blonde roasts. We also have dark roast. So we try to give people options so that no matter what it is that you like, we have that option. But if you've never drank coffee before, come in and tell the folks behind the counter that I've never had coffee, I don't know that I like coffee, and we'll find something that you can like.
And talking about the folks behind the counter, a lot of them you happen to know.
I'm a little familiar with a couple of them. Yeah, my daughter Meg, she's here in Irmo, working behind the counter right now. My grandson, her son, works for me up in Chapin, occasionally down here. Her guy, Micah, works for us up there. My son helps me roast coffee, so yeah, we're a family business.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So what would you tell someone who's maybe wanting to try for the first time?
So I would come in and, I mean, honestly, come in, let us know that you've never drank coffee before, and I would recommend maybe getting a latte or a flat white. Now, a lot of people don't really know what a flat white is. It's sort of like a latte, but it's a little bit more mild. So that's a really good one to start with. But yeah, let us know that you're trying, and we'll find something that you like.
And you said that your OMG is a blend. What you like to do is blend things.
Yes.
And it's interesting because you do have a lot of options, and that's just not with the blends. It's also with the espressos. You have multiple types of that as well.
Yeah. So like I said, we try to meet the needs of everybody. So we have our standard espresso, which is a medium roast with a little bit of dark roast added in. Then we've also got the blonde roast. We've also got our OMG dark that we can do, so it's a dark roast. We have decaf, and we also do half calf. So almost no matter what your taste is when it comes to coffee, we can help you out.
Well, I am a big coffee person, and hearing all of this, I'm so excited. So let's go give it a try.
Okay, absolutely.
So we're behind the counter now, and Bart has prepared for me some of the OMG blend, the original that everybody likes. I'm so excited to try it. I smelled it already. It smells so good. I don't really even know how to describe it, so could you describe maybe the smell?
Like I said, it's a mild. It's got some hints of like maple and a little hazelnut in there. So it's a very good coffee. Give it a shot.
I'm very excited. I would agree. I think anyone would like this. I mean, me being a coffee person, that might not be saying much, but I really do. And if you said you weren't a coffee person and you like it too, I mean, that is very good.
Yeah, I would like to on my wall have the little splash marks of all the non-coffee drinkers that we've actually
Yes, that you've converted. I love that.
Fill up the wall. We've actually converted a lot of people.
Yes, and I originally was going to drink this black, but it was a little bit too hot and we wanted to get rolling, so we put some half and half in here. It's fabulous. No sugar though, but if someone wants sugar, you have a couple of options.
We've got a few options. So we've got all the standards, sugars, regular sugar, sugar in the raw, Splenda, all that stuff, honey, Truvia, that kind of stuff. But we also have our flavoring syrup. So like I said, we have roughly 40 sugar-free options, which is this side of the rack. And then over here are all of our regular standard sugar-free or sugar-type options. So if you're into hazelnut or you like Irish cream or caramel or vanilla, we have all of that stuff.
Yeah, and so what are some of the most popular options that people use?
Well, if they're coming in and just getting a coffee and they're adding one, most people are, I mean, the most common ones are obviously vanilla, caramel, salted caramel's pretty popular, mocha, which is chocolate. A lot of people that aren't coffee people don't even realize that mocha just simply, it's a fancy word for chocolate.
Right, yeah. So walk us through some of your best-selling specialty drinks. They've got some interesting names.
Yeah, we're silly names, serious about coffee. So the first specialty drink that we made was right after the COVID shutdown. I felt like everybody needed a hug, so we created the Hug in a Mug. And then shortly after that, I had one that it was Irish cream, salted caramel, some other stuff in it. I was trying to come up with a name and I couldn't come up with a name, so I just called it the Whatchamacallit. It has nothing to do with the other thing that's famous. It's just I couldn't come up with a name for it, so it's the Whatchamacallit. Then Valentine's Day came along and we decided to give a kiss to go with the hug. So we have a kiss in a cup and a hug in a mug. We have a praline thingy, the Strawberry Fields. So we've got a whole bunch of them. So it's silly names, but really, really good coffee.
Still ahead on Soda City Living, Sierra Artemis takes us to a new event and co-working space near Columbia. And we'll head back to Bart's Coffee to watch Bart make some of his signature drinks. Ever heard of a whatchamacallit? I hadn't either, but I'll definitely be going back for one soon. Stay with us.